Welcome back to the shop. So it's Sunday morning here, being kind of lazy, sitting around drinking coffee, and decided I felt like coming out here doing something. Some of you may have seen these. I've got these on top of my workbench here. They're actually meant for a light, kind of like this here. They're actually meant for a pot light fixture in a ceiling, but I don't have any of those here at the shop, and considered adding them over the years, but just haven't gotten around to it. And as cool as this looks, I know I would lose an eyeball on one of those. So I came up with an idea here, and we're gonna light them up in the spot where they sit there. So I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit while it's still early, and then I think we'll jump out and do some work on the 68, get that steering wheel horn button finished up, and maybe get that new tach installed. So stick around, we'll see what we get up to. All right, so here's the plan. I was looking around online for some little puck lights. Came across these ones on Amazon there. They're under cabinet lights, but we're gonna use them for this. Comes with 4 lights. Initially, I just planned to mount one underneath, set these on top, but not the brightest that way, so considering we have the 4, I think I'm gonna mount one on the front side here facing back inside there, and it should light it up a little more. So I was trying to figure out the easiest way to do that. I'm just gonna fab up these little brackets here. We'll screw to the top of the bench, and then I can mount one on the inside there. I'll be hidden inside. All right, so I didn't have any number 6 threaded inserts. Smallest I have is number 8s right now, so I went and dug through my mystery bolt bin and actually managed to find 4 matching machine screws to go through there. So I don't know if any of you have a bin like that, but never fails. You usually don't have what you're looking for, so must be my lucky day. So I'm just going to take these, screw the bottom light in with just some number 5 screws, and that should work, hopefully. All right, so I got them in there, and I was just putting the last cover on, and wouldn't you know it, one of the lights stopped working. But you know it's a quality product when it comes with an appreciation letter, especially when it starts off with "Dear Friend." Wasn't a big deal, just one of the wires came loose. It wasn't soldered on there very well, so I got it fixed up. But the usual case of you get what you pay for. Speaking of which, I did pay a little extra so that I could get this. Instead of just your standard white under cabinet lighting, I can do cool stuff like this. So anyways, I think that looks pretty cool. Probably just leave it on a solid color, but if I want to, I can always stick it on one of the settings and have a dance party in here. I've had those little flame accessories there for probably 7-8 years now. They actually came from a buddy's shop, so they're kind of sentimental to me. He gave them to me as a gift as he was leaving. He sold his shop here in town and moved back to the mainland, so cool to see them lit up again. I always remember them hanging from the ceiling in his shop there. So I'm gonna clean up my mess here, and I think maybe we'll pull that tach out and see if we can get that set up in the 68. Amazon just dropped off this package of the finest quality fake leather China has to offer. So this is what I got here. A couple yards of this black vinyl material. So any of you that watched previous videos remember we pulled the dash pad out of the 68 there. It's pretty badly cracked and coming apart. So I think what I'm going to do, a few people recommended it, and I was kind of thinking of it before, is I think I'm going to patch this up as best I can, wrap it in vinyl, and see if we can't make it look a little nicer. I do have low expectations because this is pretty bad. But I think what we'll do is we'll cut back all the brittle stuff that's sticking up, smooth it out, hit it with some filler, and then just wrap it in vinyl. The stuff I got there is quite thick, so I'm hoping it'll kind of hide some of the imperfections. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll do what we can with it. Worst case, if it looks completely ugly, I will just buy the cap, which I think is about 300 bucks, and we'll just cap the dash, but we'll give this a shot anyways. That'll be probably a future project here. If anybody's interested in seeing that, post a comment down below and I'll maybe do a little video on that. There's tons of videos on YouTube here though. Guys fixing these dashes up. It's really not all that complicated, so let me know what you think. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get this tach put in the 68 there. Like I mentioned previously, it's the same one that I used to have in my Mustang. And I mentioned in that video that there's a couple tricks to mounting these up to make it look a little better. Guys will just typically take a worm drive clamp, slap it on the steering column and call it good, which definitely works. But what I did is went ahead and gave this just a mist of satin black. And then I've got some 3/8 shrink tubing. I had to go get some more. The stuff I had was short, so this stuff here a little bit longer. Just open your clamp up and feed this on there. So when you have something that looks like that, I'm going to go ahead, fit this on the steering column, see how much I need there, and I'll kind of adjust it. Hit it with a heat gun, shrink it on there, and it'll look a little nicer. Same with the wiring here on the back. I'll cover this up with some shrink tube, tuck it in, hide it out of the way, and we'll get this wired up. All right, so that's how that looks when it's all done. Get our mount, bracket. These always come with Scotch locks and all their cheap little connectors. That's what I'm going to do with those. We will solder all our connections. Those Scotch lock connectors are absolute junk. Also make sure we switch this over to full American power. All right, so this tach actually ships with what looks like shrink tubing, but heating it up with the heat gun proved that it is not. Just some cheap vinyl wrap. So I'll pull this off of here and we'll stick a length of actual shrink tubing on there. All right, so I went ahead and added a second piece of shrink tubing there, just because it worked out that there's actually a perfect little chase that goes down in between there. The way this was, it was just hitting the edge there and the wires were still touching, so we'll feed this through there and we should be good. All right, so that's how it looks all mounted up in there. Nice clean install, no wires hanging out, no exposed hose clamp. I'll have to touch up the black paint on that still. And then just gotta connect our wiring. It was all butt spliced previously. This one's actually going over to a Scotch lock on that side, so we'll eliminate that. We'll solder a splice in there directly off this wire. And then our power wire. The ground was originally going to here, but I think I'll maybe come to this one over here. It's a little bit closer, keep us from having to have wires running across. And that's the thing, these things ship with tons of wire, and I don't know how many times I've seen guys just kind of bundle it up and shove it up in there, but leave yourself a bit of extra for future. But you know, you can cut these back and just leave a little bit of slack there. You don't need 5 feet of wire jammed up under your dash, because it just gets in your way when you have to do anything else in the future. So I'm not going to go through the process of that, but I'll show you once it's all done there what it looks like. I also got the horn button issue sorted out here. As you can see, there's way less slop in there now. So you can see there, I put some of that thicker closed cell foam tape in there. I think this stuff was 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch thick, which gives us much better gap before our horn actually contacts, and gives a good amount of spring back as well. And if you remember from the last video, the other issue was these bolts were too short. So I went and got some 1/4 28 by 1 inch. And that's the perfect length. It allows this to bottom out so that these won't back out. I'll likely give these a kiss of blue Loctite as well when we do the final install. And then I just took some aluminum tubing that I had. It was actually a spare bit that came with one of the power steering hoses. And it was just shy of 1/4 inch ID. So I reamed it out with a drill bit. Pressed it on the bolt here, and with the shoulder of the bolt it pretty well holes on there, so that worked out perfectly. And I just cut those just to act as a bushing to keep this from slopping around in there. As I mentioned before, it's oversized. I could have drilled up for the next size bolt, but I didn't want to be drilling into a brand new stainless wheel here, so this definitely helps. Don't want it to be too tight. You can insert your own joke there. Leaves us a little bit of room for expansion there, but at least it's not flopping all over the place like it was before. So if you have one of these wheels, it's a fairly simple solution. It's a shame that they don't ship these with better stuff to begin with, but such is life. I also got the radio installed in the truck here. The day I was working on cleaning that up, we had that power outage where we had to cut the video short, but I'll show you what we did here to clean that up. So I'm just working on cleaning up this radio here for the 68. Popped off the bezel that it came with. These are fairly simple. You just pop your knobs off. They just slide off the shaft onto your two nuts in behind. I'll clean this one up and stick it on Marketplace or eBay and see if we can get rid of that. So to clean this up, I'm just going to use rag. I also keep in my detailing stash just some toothpicks and Q-tips, which are handy for getting in the little cracks there. And for the main cleaning, clean up the knobs and that, I'm just going to use some good old Stoner glass cleaner. Just spray it on a brush. Just using a soft nylon one here and get in there. Clean all that out. And then while you're at it, you can take it and give your teeth a good scrub. This stuff really shines them up nice, so saves you having to go get a professional cleaning at the dentist. Streak-free shine, guaranteed. Just don't pay any attention to that. Q-tips are handy for get down these little bits here. Not that you're going to see that anyways, but I got the other one all shined up there already. All right, so there's a bit of haziness in the back of the glass there that I couldn't quite get out. So I undid the two screws at the front here, two at the top, and then the ones along the side here. I was able to lift this up and slip this cover out. And then you can just pop this off of here. And we can clean that from the back side and blow out all this crap that's inside there with some compressed air. So there we go. Got everything cleaned up, shined up as much as possible. And this one button here at the end does have a couple scratches on it. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. I might be able to wet sand it and clean it out, but we'll see once it's in the truck. I don't think it's going to be all that noticeable. So we'll stick this back in and see how she looks. There we go. Looks just like she did when she rolled out of the factory. So pretty happy with that. We're not going to hook that one up. I'll probably wire it up so that the lights still work at night. We'll keep that one for looks and do the same deals we had in the 71 C10 there. I think once we get our dash pad recovered, I'm going to get some color match paint, respray the ashtray door there, and I think our interior's coming along. Alright, so I routed my tack wire through the loom that was already there, connected to the coil, and everything looks good. Tidied up a bit of the other wiring while I was at it. And then everything's all wired up inside there. No wires hanging all over the place except for the factory harness, which I've still got to tidy up. Now we just got to fire it up, make sure it actually works. The lights work. See if the needle actually moves. They're coming for us. One thing I noticed, it looks like it's got an LED light in there, and it's not the usual yellow glow, so I might have to do something about that. And it does seem a little slow to respond. It works anyway, so we'll fiddle around with that a bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and get cleaned up here. I got to get to work on that F-250 over there. Probably tackle that in the next week or two once the weather gets a little better. Got to get that truck back on the road here. So that's all for now. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.